Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. Well, we are here at Balloonin Marvellous in Milton Keynes, and we are very lucky to be able to talk to our guest today. It is Guido Verhoef. So, Guido, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I've looked a little bit at your life. We've talked very briefly about your life. So far, I would say your life has been very interesting. I'd like to find out a little bit more about how you got to be where you are today. What's that journey been like? I mean, you've talked a little bit about TV programs and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit about your life so far?
Yes, well, I don't have a specific background as a decorator, basically, or a designer, but I really started as a performing artist.
Okay.
So I did the European School for Performing Arts, and I started entertaining, and I had my own TV show, did 2 shows for 9 years on Dutch television.
Wow.
Did musical shows, had an entertainment company. And I found the balloons as a tool to perform for people. But then I found out that first you have the modeling balloons that you can use to entertain. But then I found out there are a lot more different kind of balloons, and that you can actually use the material to communicate. And that's the core of basically what I do. So it's not about the balloon as an interesting object to show to people, but it's a communication vehicle to make contact with people.
You've done some amazing things, but talk us through a specific example where somebody's come to you and said, I want to communicate this, and you've created something.
Well, in general, basically any customer who comes, if it's a private company or a wedding or anybody who wants balloons, who thinks about balloons, they want to communicate a message. Mm. And instead of just giving somebody, okay, I want an arch. Somebody calls you up and says, I want an arch. Okay, here's an arch. Now, go into the principle of what does this person want to communicate. Mm. And that's the core question that a lot of people don't think about, or a lot of decorators, designers don't ask, because they think, the client knows exactly what they want. They want to have 5 bouquets or an arch in front of the door. And I sometimes I ask them, it's like, so why do you want an arch? Do you have a shop that sells arches?
Okay, all right.
And then you change the concept, because nobody loves balloons.
Yeah.
That's one of my core rules. Nobody loves balloons.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because everybody thinks everybody loves balloons. Oh, everybody loves balloons. So, no, nobody loves balloons. Did you have a client ever calling you up to say, can I have an arch in my bedroom? Because I just love balloons. I just want to look at it when I wake up.
Yeah.
Or a column. I just want a beautiful column in my bedroom. It makes me so happy. I love balloons. Like, okay, there's maybe a scene that gets close, but in general, people don't ask for decor because they are interested in the balloon. It's they want to use the balloon to communicate something.
Yeah.
What does a balloon communicate? So in the core, the balloon is a symbol of celebration, a symbol of happiness. Huh? Why?
You asking me?
Yeah.
I've no idea now. I don't know. Why do balloons celebrate happiness?
Why don't we use for a wedding wooden sculptures to decorate the place? There are people who can make beautiful wooden sculptures. It doesn't have the same appeal as balloons or flowers. So balloons and flowers are the 2 materials that people use worldwide to use as a symbol of celebration, because a balloon or a flower has only the moment. It only exists now. Mm. So a balloon, before you inflate it, it's just a piece of rubber. Mm. It has not the magic of a balloon. The moment you inflate it, it exists. You can make something, but you also know on a subconscious level that this is only now, because the next moment, poof, it's gone. And that's why it makes this moment important. And the more work we do, the more elaborate designs we make, the more intense the more important we make this moment.
Yeah.
And that's why we want big, splendid decor for our events to show how important this moment is. Because we want to say at the wedding, this is the most important day of my life. And this is how I show it.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it, because it's almost like yeah, it is. It's so special. I'm going to use something that I know will not exist again tomorrow. That's how special this is.
Exactly.
That I'm willing to pay money for this really special thing that will be gone.
Yes.
As will the celebration. The day is gone.
Exactly.
So it goes with the day. That's a really interesting way to
balloon
look.
creates a magnifying glass on the moment, on the present time. But the moment you realize this, you can actually tap into that on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Because now it's exactly what you say. I can tell a client, I'm going to make you something unique that nobody else ever got before. I'm going to make something specifically for you. And it goes the same with corporations. If a company calls, then it's like, okay, what is the message that you want to communicate? Sometimes it's only a style, or we are the fun company. Okay, then it's a very broad. But sometimes we have an opening and we want to show our new, our new truck.
Yeah.
Okay, what can we do? Maybe we can have a big explosion, exploding wall to show the truck, or we're going to make it out of balloons. We made a life-size truck one time, 17 meters long,
wow.
So 35,000 balloons, and then we just create a full life-size truck out of balloons, because with balloons everything is possible.
You feed your client the idea, and then you have to get them to say, yeah, I'd like this. And then you go away and your building blocks are balloons.
Yes.
And you've got the different types of balloons. And then you create something that they probably still have never imagined, because it's only you that has got that.
Exactly.
And that's what they pay for.
Yeah.
What you've done here today, that I'm sure we'll show on screen, is spectacular to most people. And you were saying that this is just, oh yeah, that's just 8,500 balloons. That's nothing. How did you get to the stage that you were doing? I mean, what's the biggest one you've done? 400 and something thousand balloons?
Yeah, last year we did on one project, we used over 500,000 balloons. But it included the Guinness World Record with 72,000 balloons, something like that. But we, in total, because we also did shows and we did a week long parades in the city center as well. So in total we use over 500,000 balloons for the whole project.
How did you get from starting working with balloons
with one dog
to 500,000? How did somebody just say, hey, I want something really big, can you do me something 500,000? And you just thought, yeah,
no,
okay.
No. The funny thing is, the big projects we did, nobody's asking for that. Like, okay. Nobody's going to ask for, can you make a 26 meter high dove? Or can you make a 50 meter long Loch Ness monster? Nobody's asking that, because nobody even thinks about that it's possible to do that. So my approach is from the other way around. Like, I have a big imagination, and I know with balloons everything is possible.
Yeah.
My favorite balloon that I use, which is one of the reasons why I can think big, is a Lincoln, mm-hmm. because it's a very easy balloon to work with and to make speed and work in large scale.
Yeah.
So we can work with large groups of volunteers. We tie it into events.
Yeah.
So instead of just if a big company wants something big, and this is gonna be crazy. I have a crazy idea. But it's gonna cost me 50 people to build, maybe for 2 days.
Yeah.
So that's impossible to sell for a company. But if I tell this to a client and I say, hey, you know what? I can do something amazing for your company, and we tie it into a company event. We're going to make it into a team building experience. Mm. And I'm going to train your staff how to do this. And we're going to do something totally different. Normally you're working with computers or pharmaceutical equipment or whatever kind of company. But now we're going to change everything upside down. And I'm going to give a special class, and I'm going to make balloon professionals from them. And we're going to make something amazing. And it's going to give a great feeling of a self-esteem, of like a team building, a boost. And I'm also going to make the connection to your company as well. Because I can also, when you work with big groups, I can also make the connection of how leadership works, how you work in teams, cooperation. So there are a lot of different angles that you can also integrate. And in the meantime, you make a massive scale project. They're happy because basically they brought 50 of their own workers. And you can do this with Boy Scouts or with your local soccer team.
I think as well, what you're saying there is that if you talk to a company and you give them this, we can give you something wow, it's going to involve your people, we'll get some professionals in. Well, it's not just about decoration, is it? There's so much more. So if they're paying for it, which it boils down to quite a lot, I guess, well, where does it come from? The training budget or the party budget?
Exactly.
Or where?
Exactly. The thing is, and that's the key question, I'm not looking at the party budget. Because basically on each event, in each company, you have an event. It's basically the same, maybe it's easier to understand when you're talking about a wedding.
Yeah.
If somebody gets married, they say, okay, what do we need? We have the list. Okay, we need the dress. We need to pay the city hall. And we need to have a car. And then we need to have the room. Then we need to have the food. And so you have this list. And completely in the end, we still need decoration.
Yeah.
So what's left? And then they say, we don't have a lot of budget anymore. Can you do something?
Yeah.
So, and that's even with companies, it's the same. Because it's always the location, the DJ, the sound and light, everything is important. And then in the end, they're like, we still have, we need to scrape some budget with the leftovers.
Yeah.
And we always fight for the leftovers.
Yeah.
And I refuse to do that. So what I do, the first thing is, when I talk to a client, is I want to change his brain, because in each company, they have budgets for different things, different pockets. If you talk about what is the biggest budget of any company, it's advertisement.
Yeah.
The advertisement company budget of a company is sometimes up to 80%, because they need to push their products. Look at the crazy amount of like Coca-Cola or whatever.
Yeah.
Even in the newspaper, the smallest little advertisement is 300-400 euro pounds.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
The advertisement budget, that's what I'm after. That's the first. Because if I can explain to the customer that I'm not decorating his party or I'm not decorating his grand opening, no, I can actually create advertisement value. I'm telling him, so okay, how many people do you want to know about it? What is your exposure? I can create something that will bring you on national television.
Yeah.
I can do something that people still remember in 10 years.
So you say, what would you pay for a front page newspaper advertisement? And that'd be that much. So I can get you that for free.
Exactly. But I'm not saying it like that. I'm just telling him. I'm just telling them, it's like, hey, what's your dream? How many people do you want to reach out to?
Yeah.
What's your target?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get people say, well, it would be great if everybody knows about it in my city, or if it's a regional action, or we try to get as much exposure out. So, okay, so what is it exactly? What is the message? What do you want to? And then you get deeper and deeper into their real ideas of what they want to do. And then I say, okay, now let's look at the balloons. Because I have a material which is the perfect advertisement tool, because it has a great appeal to people and it sticks in the brain of people.
Yeah.
Not an arch. An arch has I always say, an advertisement value of 20 seconds.
Yeah.
When a phone house, they call me up and they say, hey, I want an arch in front of the door. For me, that's silly. Only if you sell arches, you put an arch in front.
Okay.
The first sentence every decorator has to learn is it's just a sentence that every business person knows, is like generating traffic. That's the correct term, getting people in. An arch, the only reason why people want an arch is to generate traffic. They want to say, welcome, something is happening here today, you have to come in. That's the message. So every company, every shop, every shopping mall is interested in generating traffic. So how can we help a company a shop to generate traffic in the most efficient way? So I tell you, an arch has 20-second advertisement value. You walk by, you see an arch, say, hey, look there, oh, something happens there. Go across the street, a car comes, and you forgot where you saw it. The only advantage of a good arch is if the colors are connected to the logo of the company, it helps a little bit better. So if the phone house is purple and green, and you make the arch in purple and green, it helps a little bit to push their logo, their colors.
So what would you do instead of an arch?
2 phones. Why not to make 2 cellular phones with a little string of balloons in between? And then you still have your arch, but it's 2 phones that are communicating. Everybody will pass by and say, look, this is amazing, look. They will take pictures in the middle, and all of a sudden, and they will go home, remember this, and they will remember, hey, they saw 2 phones, and they will also remember where it was, because it's logic, it was at the place where you find where you buy your phones.
That seems so simple.
It is simple.
But most people don't do that. So that's a really interesting way to think. So how many people are there in the world that think like you? Because I've not come across anybody that looks at things in this way before. So
I don't know.
No.
Maybe not a lot.
To give people one tip, should they be asking that question? What do you want to communicate? Would that be the tip? Or
not like push the balloons aside.
Okay.
Because the balloons are only a communication vehicle. And I always say, like, the customer doesn't know what he wants. That's rule number 1. Nobody loves balloons. Rule number 2, the customer doesn't know what he wants, is rule number 1. And then they call you up and they say, I want an arch. No, rule number 1, the customer doesn't know what he wants. Because they think they know what they want, but they don't know what I can do. And they don't know the power of a balloon. They don't know that I'm not a decorator. I'm in the advertisement business. We have gold in our hands. We have a powerful tool to communicate. We have such a powerful tool, and we don't use it in that order.
So versatile as well, isn't it? There's so many different types of balloons these days.
Exactly.
That you can do so much with.
You can basically make any shape so easily now if you educate yourself a little bit more. And then when the next client calls you up, ignore what he asks. Ask him, what is the purpose? First of all, who are you? What are you selling? What are you doing? I want to know the client first. The first thing I do when I get an email, I go to their website immediately and I look, what is this company selling? What are they doing? What are their targets? What are their objectives? And now I want to find out, what do you really want? You don't want balloons. What do you really want to communicate? Where do you want to go? What's your dream with your company? And now, how can we get there? Who do you want to reach out to?
I think that's great. I think that's, looking at it from that point of view, if more people in our industry took that approach, they'd get much more interesting jobs. They'd probably be far more profitable, and the customer would be far happier. It's a win-win-win situation. That's fantastic. Guido,
but it takes time.
It takes time. 26 years. So there you go. But you can get there, a phone. I'm sure you could learn that pretty quickly.
But you have to repeat it every time. Every customer for me first starts with the customer. I'm not interested in selling him balloons. I rather, if it's nothing for me in the end, I rather send them away. Or I rather say, you really need an arch, go to my client or go to my colleague because I don't make arches. Stay with the person instead of immediately, what can I sell? Exactly. You know what I have? This is my portfolio. No. Leave that behind. First start.
So ask the questions, find out as much as you can,
Exactly.
and then...
In the meantime, start thinking in images, in pictures, to solidify it.
No, that's fantastic. Guido, I could talk to you for hours, but I know we have to go and have dinner very soon. So thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I know it's been a very, very busy day, and I appreciate you taking the time out to do this.
It was my pleasure.
So thank you very much. That's it from us this week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And Guido, thanks again for doing this. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Thank you.